Christine, thanks so much for taking the time today. It's a real treat, a real pleasure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, and welcome to my home.
Well, thank you. It's lovely too. It's
Thank
what a wonderful place to do this.
Thank you.
So obviously COVID-19 has affected you and the organization and everyone else. What have been some of the opportunities that have come out of it?
Yeah, we launched our strategic plan at the beginning of last year, and one of our key areas of focus was creating a culture of innovation. And that culture of innovation literally got exponentially expedited, if you will, because of COVID. From working from home, and hats off to our CIO, Bev Kite. She had the forethought to already start putting a lot of pieces in place. So it was really a seamless transition for us to be able to work from home. But moreover, from our online voting also that Bev had worked with you all on, and to make sure that we could do voting online, those things had already been in place. And so we've kind of been gearing up towards that innovation. But once COVID hit, we really had to think differently. And so now we've become content creators, we've become facilitators, and in doing so, we've actually democratized some of what we do, because now you don't have to be in LA proper per se to have those interactions and to be able to engage with our amazing members, and then our interns and our staff and our fans.
Absolutely, and it's clearly having an impact on the industry in terms of the traditional rollout of movies. But it's also creating some really interesting opportunities for innovation within the industry itself. Yeah. Could you speak to your role in that innovation from an industry standpoint, looks like?
Yeah, it really has elevated our innovation in a way in which I think we would have gotten there, but we got there a lot sooner. So we're excited and grateful for that. And how we look at the world. Everybody thoroughly loves the theatrical experience and what that means, and what it looks like to see and experience a film in that environment, right? From the sound to the audio to the visual to the experiential to the social aspect of being in the theater. But at the same time, there's a lot that we can do without having to be physically present. And because we are a global organization, that's so important to us. We want to make sure that we're engaging with all of our members how they want to be engaged. We have this brilliant group of technologists and scientists, but they all apply that brilliance to film. And so what they've done is created a task force to look at all of the different technologies that are available. At the Academy, we have everybody. We have every branch. We have every aspect of the movie making pipeline and process. And so to have all of those folks all thinking about it from a technology perspective about how we can creatively resume production and what types of things that we can implement in order to keep people safe and healthy, but at the same time get back to work. I'm excited to see what they come up with because we're going to have to be really creative on set, and we're starting to see it now as things are slowly starting to open up, and that's what the Academy Side Tech Council hopefully will continue to tackle in partnership with the industry as a whole, because we're going to have to be creative. Because the key, we really do want to get people back to work, but we want to do it safely.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Academy's Aperture 2025?
Yeah, so we're very proud of it. And, after the murder of George Floyd, the entire country is really coming to a place of, reconciliation with where we are. And we as an organization and as an industry are doing the same, and really looking at what is it that we have control over as an organization, and then how can we influence the industry based on our history, acknowledging that history, right? And then how do we move forward, but how do we do so intentionally and with action? And so Aperture 2025 really represents and signifies broadening the aperture of excellence, right? And so we in film, we always look at that lens, but let's broaden that lens. Let's broaden that aperture so we can really recognize excellence in all of its forms. The other part of it that's super important are how do we walk the walk as an organization. So that is our hiring and promotion practices and our diversity within our talent. It's also our vendors and suppliers, as we touched on before. It's our investment portfolios. It's our collections. It's all of these things. Do we have representation from all of those different aspects? What is the experience of our employees? What is the experience of our members? And does everybody have a sense of belonging, right? How do we change hearts and minds? That's another big part of it, right? And we have to do that through a journey that we're going on through unconscious bias training. And that starts with our board of governors, our branch executive committees, as well as our staff and leadership. So we also are looking at how then do we talk about it some more? How do we acknowledge these things? And that's manifesting through our beautiful academy dialogues that our member relations department is putting forward, with conversations with Brian Stevenson and Whoopi Goldberg, so on and so forth, all about the experience that underrepresented groups and those who come from underrepresented ethnic and racial backgrounds have within our industry, and how do we move forward to a more equitable future, and how are we intentional about that. And that's a little bit of a shift for the academy, right? The academy typically would stand in its space and let the world revolve, right? And now we're stepping into it, we're leaning into it, to use that phrase. We are being very intentional and actionable to see how we see more representation in front of the camera, behind the camera, within the pipeline, as well as all of the different executives that play a role in this business that we play. And that's who the academy is evolving into, and it's really, really a great thing to be a part of.
It's really exciting. So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Very exciting.